Can you help shed some light since you have been managing a community that varies across different age segments beyond 28? And if I'm not wrong, we also have a lot of singles who are in the late 40s or early 50s as well in the community. So how does dating change or finding the your companion changes with comparison to late 30s or 40s in comparison to early 20s?
I think dating in 20s, you're experimenting, you're learning the ropes. And in your 30s and 40s, I think it's more like a finely tuned playlist, as if you've cut the noise, you know your favorite tracks, and you're ready for something that truly resonates with you. And like I've been saying, that I think and I hope that you have a more heightened self awareness in from your like 28 and beyond as compared to your early 20s.
Amazing, amazing. So self-awareness is the key, I believe. That is important when finding a companion. But what are your thoughts on the way our priorities also shift as we age in terms of relationships and personal growth?
If you truly ask me, I think in terms of relationship, the core elements remain the same regardless of the age. Okay, so relationships are about physical attraction, emotional connection, compatibility, and like finding a partner who aligns with your long term goals and values. So, irrespective of your age, all these things matter. So, I don't think priorities change. With a different decade. As for personal growth, I do think and I believe that we need to tend to focus on self awareness as we progress through life's journey.
And is emotional vulnerability at the same level as we evolve, or it varies and it becomes less or more with increasing age?
I think that's a great question, actually. Emotional vulnerability, again, exists at every age when one is entering relationships. Relationships are emotional, right? The difference is as we age, and life experiences can shape how we approach love. Uh, Leading to fear of heartbreak, hesitation, or overthinking. Having said all of this, I think these feelings truly are not age specific because, you can have experienced all of this at any stage, when we seek for love or a meaningful connection, be it in your 20s, 30s, 40s, all across.
But again, Shalini, when you have some previous experiences coming in picture, they often solidify your emotional quotient. They make you prone to being emotionally vulnerable. And somewhere that if I look at myself as an individual, I would want my partner to be a bit emotional vulnerable. The person can take their time to, show that vulnerability over a period of time, building that trust. But that level of vulnerability or communication is really essential for me as an individual. So, what are your, experiences or thoughts on that? How do life experiences really change the narrative of, finding a partner?
This actually is a pretty deep question, and I hope I can, you know, give an answer that has justification. So I think life experiences like your previous relationships or your career choices and more, if they are poor, certainly shape how we view potential partners. Uh, it's important to remain mindful that life will bring in both highs and lows. And the important bit is how we handle when we are in a low, right? And, so I think in my view, rather than letting past experiences define us, it's important to focus. I have used this word so many times. It's important to truly focus on self awareness and the now. And, see, entering a relationship isn't just about finding the person, it's also about staying in the relationship. So thus I said, focus on the, on self-awareness and the now.
Amazing. And do you think that people are more likely to compromise or rush into a relationship? I'm combining two questions over here. But yeah, do you believe, because we also discussed about rushing into a relationship can often lead to problems in one of our previous questions. But do you think that as we age, we tend to compromise and or either have higher standards as well? If the pendulum can move on either sides. Are people more likely to compromise or have higher standards when they are dating in the later part of their life?
You know, I think dating to find, firstly, irrespective of when you're dating. Okay. So if you are dating to find a long term partner at any age, it requires you to have high standards. Okay. It's an investment for a lifetime. And if there is clarity, there is no need to compromise. And I actually do suggest this exercise in the community. And for anyone looking to commit, um, again, like I said, irrespective of your age, what you need to do is create a list of qualities you want in a partner. It can be as long as you like. Okay. But once you are done, make three columns with three headers: must have, nice to have, and okay to have. Now, from the list that you have created, which could have 50 items or 100, totally what you're looking for. So, from that list, now consciously select 5 to 7 items which go into your first bucket of must haves, not more than 5 to 7. Actually, the fewer, the better. All right. I had three must haves. Okay. Um, from that list, add about 15 to the nice to have, and the rest go to okay to have. Now, when you're searching for a life partner, you talked about compromise. I say no, that you don't need to compromise. So when you're searching for a life partner, focus only on your must have list. This will give you clarity. All right. Whilst this list shouldn't change, it may evolve during different stages of life. And actually, the must have list becomes your guiding principle, as in it becomes a reminder of why you're with the person, especially during challenging times. And, it helps to keep the relationship grounded and intact during these times.
I mean, we talked about compromise, we talked about higher standards, and we talked about the experiences of our previous relationships. Um, how can individuals, and building on these experiences, I would like to understand how can individuals really overcome the baggages that we all carry from our past relationship or experiences? Because if it's about 30s, we would have had some form of experiences either in a committed relationship or through friendships, or even at the workplace we would have some form of experiences coming in, and we often bring those baggages into our relationships when we are marrying. So how can individuals really overcome past relationship baggages, in their late 20s, 30s, or 40s?
I think overcoming past relationship baggage has got nothing to do with age. It's actually got to do about healing before entering a new relationship. Okay. And doing this allows you to mindfully identify your must haves, which I just talked about earlier. Right? And when it comes to healing, I think I do have 4 suggestions on healing, on how one should look at healing. I think it's important to fully experience the emotions of a breakup, from feeling betrayed to anger, but not allowing them to linger for too long. And during this time, one should avoid jumping into a new or a casual relationship for false validation. The second thing, I think it's very important to surround yourself with non-judgmental people and totally avoid anyone who makes you feel pitied. The third thing I say is invest in, anything that gets you moving. So be it running, yoga, walking, swimming, that can just, release tension and that can just release tension. And the last, what I say and would recommend is, work on accepting that this relationship that you were in had a limited lifespan, rather than blaming yourself or your ex or the person you were with, and absolutely steer clear of people who are overtly curious about the breakup, especially during this time.